Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are back, and we are back with another episode. This episode is brought to you by the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. Go to www.fdfineartsassociation.org to find out more. Be sure to check out their podcast, FDT. It's available the first Friday of every month. Check out their community calendar for all sorts of good stuff. The link's right down below. All you got to do is click it. Thanks, Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. This week, I'm sitting down with Joey Heirigs. I actually don't know Joey that well. I've seen him. I've seen him play drums. I've played shows, on the same bill as him, but I'm not super familiar with him. I ran into him recently at a radio station when we were doing an interview, and it was kind of cool to be like, oh, I do know you, right? And it's like, yeah. And then we kind of like backtracked our steps. It's like, oh, we actually have shared the stage before. So it was kind of a cool thing. And, I was just like, hey, you ever want to come on the podcast? Sure. And then that's how this happened. So it's really kind of fun to get to know him and kind of get to know the story behind like how he joined up with Display Case and how that all happened and the touring and just all the cool stuff. There's a lot of cool stories out there that I've only got like tiny little itty bitty pieces of. And then when you sit down and talk to somebody for an hour, you're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. I didn't know most of that. So this is a fun one. Lots of fun stories. Joey's a great guy. It was really fun to sit down and talk with him. And I'm glad that he took the time out of his day to sit down and talk with me. So let's get into the episode. It's episode 271 with Joey Heirigs.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
I'm sitting down today with Joey Heirigs. Do you go by Joey or is it Joe?
I go by Joey. I won't respond to Joe usually. I won't recognize it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. If you don't know, you just won't respond to the name. But you're the drummer in Display Case. I actually ran into you recently. It was like the six-year anniversary of 92 Rock, which is like the radio station in Fort Dodge. And Mason was throwing like a little party for it, you guys showed up. It was let's see here, you and Jordan, was it?
Yeah, me and Jordan. Yep.
Yeah. So okay, cool. I'm not that bad with names, everybody, but yeah, Jordan was there too. And I was like, I know you guys, and it's like, oh, these guys are in Display Case, and it's like, I think I've played shows with you guys. And sure enough, I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked back through the catalog of shows that I have, but like I'm pretty sure with Three Finger Betty we've played a show with you guys at least once at Gaslamp.
Yeah. We Jordan and I were talking on the way back. I feel like it was like multiple gas lamp. It was funny when we walked into the studio, like we looked at you and then him and I looked at each other. It was like, we know that guy, but we don't know who he is. But we recognize him.
That's the fun part though. Like the music scene is just big enough that like you recognize people, but you might not know them by name, or it's just like once somebody says something, you're like, oh yeah, I know this person, and
exactly what we did.
it's so funny. I love that too. Plus, like that's a testament to like if you're in a band that's doing the band thing long enough, you're just gonna know people by virtue, and they're gonna know you by virtue just because you've been out there long enough.
Yeah.
But before we get too into the philosophical stuff, let's talk a little bit about you. So, like, how did you start playing music? I know you as a drummer. Have you always been a drummer?
Dude, I have. So how I started, like, funny, since I was like one of my first memories is sitting in my parents' basement, and I remember this so vividly. It was like raining summertime, and I had to have been like 4 or 5 years old. I was in preschool, and my dad had this really big has this really big stereo. He still has it. Excuse me. And I remember hearing Cult of Personality by Living Colour and just being like, what the hell is that? And then there was a live Motley Crue CD, like a Decade of Decadence or something like that. I remember him playing that. And then Get a Grip by Aerosmith and 9 Lives by Aerosmith. So I turned 32 in December. So yeah, that would have been like 97, I think.
Dude,
but
that's when you say Cult of Personality, like
CM Punk.
dude, obviously. I just keep thinking like when I listen to that, the way that my brain digests music, it's just like, what is going on with this guitar solo? Like the whole song, it's just like, I would have never formulated anything even remotely close to whatever the heck is going on here, but Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's mind blowing as a kid, and then you grow up and you start playing instruments and listening to music. You're like, this is different,
right.
in a good way though.
Yeah,
But that's kind of cool that that was like one of the things that you were like, oh wow, like
yeah,
that plus Aerosmith. I remember being a kid listening to Aerosmith and just being like, oh, this has got the groove.
yeah. It's like it's bluesy, it's punky, it's rock. I love it. I love it so much.
So how does that translate to you playing music then?
Yeah, so again, I was really, really like a little kid when during this time, and I would air drum like just to like what I don't even know. I was probably drumming to the guitar riff at that point or something, right? And then around the same time, again, my dad was a big music head, and we had VHS of 1977 or 1978 Texas Jam headlined by Aerosmith, and I would watch that like I'm probably every day. I mean, I have that set list memorized. I've like refound it. So there's that, and then I rewatch just back to back. It's like 1997 Aerosmith's Nine Lives like Germany showcase on MTV, which I think my parents like taped over, and I would watch that and I would mirror what the drummer was doing. Um, I play drums left-handed, so I play open-handed. So my left hand's on the hi-hat, right does the rest. But I'm a right-handed dude. But the reason I do that is because think about it. I'm a little kid watching it reversed. I'm just mirroring exactly what I see. So my hands uncrossed at that point, and I've played like that ever since. And you could have asked me when I was 5 years old if I was a drummer. I would have said yeah, but didn't have a drum kit. At that point, I'm just like playing on the couch and I'd like rock back and forth. I know that was a huge thing. It's really cool now because my daughter's like doing the same thing. She'll like drum and then like rock back and forth like I would.
Oh, that's super cool. It's also like neat to see that like you play open handed and you never, I don't want to say like quote unquote corrected it because it's not like it's like an issue really, but it's just like not the fundamental thing that you see everyone doing. Everyone does the cross hand
Yeah,
drumming. I mean, that's how I do it because it just makes more sense to me to do it that way. But so you're right handed and you're using right hand to hit snare then.
exactly. Yep.
Okay. I'm
And
not.
it's really, 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 really hard to learn any cover song because I have to like undo it and relearn it. It's so hard to learn cover songs.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I mean, this is okay. We're already going to get off on a tangent. Have you found that that's beneficial to you in some ways, though?
I think it is with writing, like writing my own songs, but as far as covers, it definitely just hinders me for sure. But I know, yeah, I don't know. I really want to. Ian Rubin, so that just joined the Foo Fighters. I know was in Nine Inch Nails and Angels and Airwaves before that. He plays open handed, so I'm really excited to see how he plays like all the Foo Fighters songs like that. And I wish he could release like some type of documentary on how he does stuff. He's crazy, but obviously not even close to his level. But that's the only person I can think of that plays like the kind of style of music that I naturally play. But yeah, as far as writing, I think it definitely gives me like an advantage because I'm so busy at display guys. I don't really jam with too many other people, but when I do, they're like what the hell is that? Or like Carter, our guitar player, he's also a drummer, and so it's fun to like watch him try to like play back what I'm playing because he has to do what I normally do and like reverse it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's odd, man.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So like I mean, your obvious inspiration it comes from listening to music with your dad and kind of just glomming on to what I can understand like a lot of Aerosmith, which is understandable because like I said, growing up, I remember like somebody popping in. Was it like I remember the first song? I was just like, "What is this?" And it's like it was a Ragdoll. Aerosmith,
Yeah,
I was just like, what is
yeah,
this nonsense? Like, this is crazy. Like, it's got like horns in it and stuff. Like, this is
yeah.
cool. Like, I don't know why my brain latched onto it like as a young kid, but so like, was there anybody like around you peer wise that you were kind of like leaning on to learn the drums, or like how did you actually like pick up the drum set and learn it? Did somebody buy you like a drum set for Christmas or in school
Yeah.
maybe or?
Yeah, so there was like I had like no peer as far as drums. So I got a drum set for Christmas when I was like 9 or 10 years old. So it was just a used drum kit single, and it was really nice. I had it forever. I like toured with it and everything. But yeah, I would just really VHS tapes turned into MTV turned into YouTube, and so I would just watch everything because I talked about Aerosmith a lot, but just as influential to me is Blink 182, and so I remember I saw the feeling. I was faking sick. I've been like fifth grade, so I'm faking sick and TRL's on, and feeling this music video came on. At this point, I've only heard like listen to classic rock, or like if I knew anything punk, it was just like something like Basket Case or by Green Day. But feeling this came on, and I remember I jumped out like off the couch. It was just like, what the hell was even that? And then I was trying to explain it to my brother, like the feeling this, the song, the video. I've never seen anything like it. And I was trying to explain it to him, and he was like trying to help me like put it together. And we couldn't. And my brother, again, so he would have been like, gosh, this would have been 2003, and he would have been, I don't know, but he would have been like preteen, right that TRL era.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the Blink self-titled CD, and he was just spinning it one day, and I was like, that's the song I was trying to describe to you about with the video. It was like a jail, and they broke, I don't know. And yeah, ever since then I followed his path, and that's like the when that pop punk of that kind of style was huge, and kind of just weaned off of what he was liking.
Yeah, that pop punk stuff was like my jam growing up. Probably like junior high into high school. I'm like 5-ish years older than you are, so add 5 years ish to what you got going on. I remember like when I was graduating high school was like right when the like emo stuff started kind of taking over. Maybe a little bit like Hawthorne Heights type stuff. Like they were really getting kind of popular, which is like weird because like lately that was like kind of when I was like, I'm not really feeling how like the pop punk is leaning more emo nowadays. But like, it's so funny. I'm like 37-ish, and I'm just like, the other day, I don't know, it was probably a few months ago, I was just like, I'm gonna listen to some Hawthorne Heights, and I ended up like listening to Hawthorne Heights like all day long, and I'm like, where did this come from? I'm not like sad or anything. I'm not like a teenager with like black painted fingernails anymore. But
Right.
but that it's fun how those kind of music, that can A, influence us, and B, kind of just be this like weird beacon like in our past where we're just like, yeah, this is like where I came from, this type of music.
Yeah, that's why I feel like with Blink too, because again, I was like like a preteen trying to find your groove, find your crew, and all that, and it was cool because I just made friends that like Blink a lot too, and we just kind of went off of that. So we're not like so like high school, junior high of me, but like we're not those jock kids, we're not those like nerdy kids. We're just like these guys that wear like the Famous and Atticus shirts, and we're the in between. I always love that.
Dude, and I'm not trying to pigeonhole anyone, but were you like, I almost liken it to being like a skater kid, but like not skating. If that makes any sense.
That's dude, you make all the sense in the world. Yeah, that's exactly. I feel like I'm wearing a Vans shirt right now. I've never stepped in a skateboard in my life. So, but yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
exactly what it is.
Hashtag me too. Yeah, totally. Like I learned how to skateboard like just enough to stay on a skateboard, and then I like had to have a couple knee surgeries, and then I never got on a skateboard again. So like that's the extent of me skateboarding, was like I could go down a road and then like step off and do the pump thing, and then that was it. Like I had just learned how to like basically stay on a board, and I was just like, I'm the man, like I'm so cool, I'm finally learning how to do this. And then so I'm not a skater either. I remember rollerblading when I was a kid, but not
Yeah,
skating.
I wanted to skateboard so bad. My brother skateboarded a little bit, and he was into the Razor scooters at the time, so it was kind of the same. But I was a really fat kid, so I couldn't rollerblade, I couldn't skateboard. Like I tried, but it's like I'm gonna tip right over. So, but it would be sweet because my brother would do all that stuff. I'd just be there. So
It's funny you say that, because like I've only known you and you've been like obvious drummer physique. Most drummers are just like lean and mean, and it's like I don't know, but I guess I was different as a kid. I had hair when I was a kid, so like give and take, I guess.
Right.
You say your older brother, like so did he play music too?
He played the snare drum in the junior high band, and that was basically it. But he, like, I remember the first time I listened to rap was through him. Like every band, like any of those emo bands, My Chemical Romance, like he showed me them. Boys Like Girls, Taking Back Sunday, Brand New.
Taking Back Sun. Oh man.
Yeah, like all that. I've seen all those bands with him. He moved away, but we'll still trade music back and forth. And like with display case demos, when we get something that's like recognizable on like a cell phone demo, I'll send it to him. But yeah, it was such a cool time because I just remember like going downtown Des Moines and it's like, I've heard of Taking Back Sunday because he has,
Yep.
and I just felt sweet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. And it's also kind of fun that like he's one of the influences kind of in there, but like what made it so you catapulted off and decided to go music, like play music? Like you said he played the snare, so did you were like I'm going to play the snare too or
So I played in the school band for like 3 months, and I was just like, screw this. I want to play the whole kit. I want to play the snare drum. That's lame.
dude,
And
that's
yeah,
every drummer that wants to drum that quits. That's exactly what I think goes through their head. It's not moving fast enough. I want the whole thing. I don't want to just
yeah,
play the bass drum. I want to put it on the floor. I'll kick it. You know?
yeah. I feel like I kind of had two moments in my life where drums have been like just like a changing point, and one of those was I was like in a band in junior high. I mean, it's not really bands; we just kind of jam together, and it morphed into what Display Case is today. So, um, I remember jamming with our first guitar player, and before that, I jammed with dudes that are trying to, play basket case really bad. I mean, we're in eighth grade, and this guitar player, he was like a metalhead virtuoso, but he could like dumb it down to my level, and that's kind of how the display case songs like started to connect, where you have this like metalhead trying to play drums with this like non-drum lessoned drummer who plays left-handed, and it ended up working, and like jamming and like knowing what he's going to do next and vice versa, that was the coolest thing ever. Like you're speaking another language, and it was so like such a pivotal time. And I've the only other guitar, so I was our first guitar player, and like no joke, the only other guitar player I've had moments like that and repeat with is Carter, who's our current guitar player. But that was the first one, and then the second one with drums is I remember playing a show where it felt like it was the first time I didn't like do like an embarrassingly bad job, and we were opening for a band called A Loss for Words, Transit, and Such Gold at Vaudeville Muse in Des Moines. It was like a Tuesday or something like that, and
Classic.
yeah, and like I was like I never heard of these guys before, and like I looked them up the day of and everything, and I saw that they're like kind of big, but whatever. And I knew they were on tour, and like I want to do that, and so I told them all they could stay at my house. I was like 14, and then I asked my dad if they could. Thank God he said yes, and I just saw that they were, there was a Tuesday 5 p.m. early show at Vaudeville, so no one was there, and these dudes were playing like they were playing Madison Square Garden. They were drumming as hard as they could, yelling as hard as they could, and just going nuts. And I just that I've taken that aspect to like everything in my life. You just go balls out at everything. If no one's watching, who gives a fuck?
Oh,
It
absolutely.
was that was life changing. That was life changing. I've seen those guys before then. I was friends with the guitar player at Transit. Unfortunately, he passed away. But I've told him that, and they're just like, that's so awesome, dude. But I still don't know if they know how influential it was.
That's fun. Oh man. I mean, it's funny because this is like I remember being a teenager and going to like those Tuesday 5 o'clock shows at vaudeville where like I live 2 hours away from Des Moines, and it'd be like you get out of school at like 3:10 or whatever it is, and we would just like get in the car and haul ass down to Des Moines to make it there for like a 5 o'clock show or whatever, because there'd be like some random band that I had like either seen on tour somewhere or like saw online, and it's like they're coming through, and I mean it's funny because like, and this is gonna sound weird because like having played those shows and you're like experienced and I'm experienced now, where like it's easy for people to fall into the trap of just like, yeah, whatever. It's just a Tuesday 5 o'clock show at vaudeville, and like there's people that are just standing around sipping a beer, not really caring or anything like that. But like I had seen a couple bands that did exactly what you said, and it's like they treated it like it was a packed house, and it's there's 15 people in the building or whatever, but like they didn't know that I drove 2 hours to see them, and like how important it was for me to see them like actually care even though there was nobody there. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
listen to me talking about how like nobody's at vaudeville, you know, or whatever. But like maybe that's why it's no longer there, unfortunately. But
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
hey, that place was a beacon in Des Moines, the downtown scene. Two
Yeah,
shows a night, every night. You know.
yeah, that it's missed. It'll be missed forever.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, I played shows there with a couple different bands. I mean, it's fun. The amount of bands I've seen play there. I don't know. That's just kind of cool. So like that first show like there where you're like, this didn't suck. This is awesome. Like that's another like cool benchmark to have in your life, I feel like, cuz you're just as musicians, I feel like we bite off more than we can chew sometimes maybe.
Oh yeah,
Where we're like, yeah, I can play a half an hour set and you're like, we have 5 songs, you know, and they're each 3 minutes. What are we going to do? You know? Or so, you know, just stuff like that where like you have to work your way up to where you're like feel comfortable on stage, and just having those moments. It's nice to know that like you actually still have them in your brain, like recollected in your catalog to be like, these are good benchmarks to have in my life, you know, and it's just kind of fun.
yeah, totally.
Weird question. You said you've had this like first band where you guys were kind of just jamming or whatever, that kind of turned up eventually leading into what is Display Case. What was the original band's name? Did you guys have a name?
We, yeah, it was called No Boundaries. You spelled boundaries with a Z, and I think it's it's like a clothing brand for like Target or Walmart now. No Boundaries. I have like a bunch of like work shirts that say No Boundaries in them.
That's
But
hilarious. Dude, No
yeah,
Boundaries with a Z. That is like the most 90s thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
yeah, dude,
That's so
it was
fun.
great.
That's gold. That's gold. Yeah, dude, that's so fun, especially to know that you still remember it and stuff. So like let's talk about like the transformation of the band turning into Display Case then. Like how does that all happen? Like at what point, cuz I mean I'm sure between the stories you've told, like you turned into Display Case at some point in time, or the band is kind of what it is, you know, today.
Yeah, yeah.
But like how did that all happen?
So yeah, the junior high band No Boundaries. We went from eighth grade to freshman year. I think we dropped the name because we thought it was like lame, which was probably a good idea. And we would just kind of jam like, so this is freshman year in high school. We would just kind of jam when everyone's free, and then it was all of a sudden my buddy, him and I are tight now. I just saw him like a couple weekends ago, and I visited him when he's in town, or when I'm in his town, and vice versa. But he's like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. But he like wouldn't tell me he didn't want to do it anymore, so he just stopped like replying to me. But I'd see him at school. He's like, "What's up, man?" And it's funny because he toured with Display Case later, but I'll get to that. But yeah, so I was looking for a guitar player, and there is a band freshman year called Feedback, and that was our original guitar player's band with Dylan, our bass player, our current bass player. It was their band, and I went over to jam with them, and that was fun. And then after that, I kept jamming with the guitar player, and I kept trying to get him to join a band. I was like, "Hey, start a band with me." And finally, he was like, "All right, we'll do that. I'll start a band with you, but I'm going to stay in this other band." And which is funny because Dylan, current bass player, leaving that band Feedback to come play in Display Case. But at first, it was just me and our first guitar player Max, and we needed a singer. So like, who the hell are we going to find for a singer or whatever? And again, we're in high school. Our high school is like insane about football. So I played football and Jordan played football. And Jordan was a grade above me, but him and I just talked about this. We had to go to a special study hall. This is how we met, but we had to go to a special study hall for people that were getting like a D or below in like a certain class. And we were both doing bad at math. But it came up on a Facebook memory, but 4 weeks into the school year, him and I, not knowing each other, 4 weeks into the school year, both had D's in math class, which I don't even understand how we were that stupid to get D's. Like we were showing up, but we were sitting at this table. We had a peer tutor, but the peer tutor was someone that I knew from like kindergarten through junior high. And she was super cool, and Jordan knew her from, I think, like wrestling. Jordan wrestled for a little bit too, and she was like one of the wrestling manager helpers. And him and I, not knowing each other, were sitting at the table, and we were talking about what we'd rather be doing right now. And then I don't remember what he said, but I remember I said something like, wish I could be playing drums right now. He asked me about that, I was like, yeah, we're looking for a singer. And Jordan, I have no idea if he like, I can remember this. I have no idea if he actually knew he could sing at the time or do anything at the time. But he's like, I could sing.
I could do
And
this.
I was, and then I think he thought I was like, oh, that's cool. But I was like, oh, really? You want to try out or something like that? And then I think we just talked about music for like the rest of that time, and we ended up, I mean, we both graduated. You know, we weren't dumb, but we both graduated, and yeah, I got him to come to try out. It was funny. The first tryout he had, me and Max, our first guitar player, were waiting for him to show up. He never showed up. He sent me a text like an hour later. He was like, hey, sorry, I forgot. I had lunch with my girlfriend. We'll have to try it some other time. And I was like, oh, that's weird. But yeah, but understandable, man, whatever. This next week at work or something like that. And it did. And he ended up showing up, and he like he was belting it out, you know, for like not knowing us. I'm sure he was nervous. And he had a fake girlfriend. He lied to me. He was too nervous to show up that first time. So, but yeah, and so we started that way, and we really, again, our guitar player was really, really good, and you know, I was like learning off of him, and Jordan was just like, you know, taking it all in, and we ended up needing a bass player, which ended up being Dylan, current Dylan from Max's first band, and from there we practiced every weekend. I remember every Saturday from like 1 to 4, I'd get out of football film and lifting, and from like 1 to 4 o'clock, it'd be all display case. And it was such a special time. Jordan and I were talking about this literally on the way home from Fort Dodge. That's a long drive for us. And it was like, yeah, I want to go back to high school. Like, you couldn't pay me to go back. You know, I agree. But there was such a special time where display case was just starting. It was like us against the world. There was no rules. And my parents just went through a bad divorce. I mean, every parent's divorce is bad, right? I mean, I was lucky from stories I've heard, but my parents got divorced. A week later, his parents got divorced. And all of a sudden, it's literally Jordan and I against the freaking world. And we just spent all the time with Max and Dylan, just writing songs, trying to learn covers, and just messing around. Because we had, you know, we did, surprisingly, we didn't do anything bad. We had like no supervision during band practices, but we were actually working on our stuff because I just, you know, gotta be the best. So we just use all that energy into that. That's kind of how it got started.
I feel like that's kind of fun because, like, you were talking about how, like, you go to school every day, you're not stupid people, but for some reason you're just not doing very good in math, and it's like, it's probably because it didn't interest you, but also, like, it's like the power of, like, passion is exactly like, well, you were interested in something, and, you know, and you took off with it, you know, it's something that you guys pursued quite a bit, you know, to still be doing it is something really, you know, admirable. But, you know, I think about me in school. It's like I wasn't stupid either, but there was a lot of times I was just like, this teaching style is not getting to me, or like whatever, you know. It was just something was like, I don't know, but you know, kudos to you for like all you guys sticking with it too, because like we had like a band in high school, like, you know, when I was growing up, me and a couple friends, and believe it or not, Clint, the drummer from Three Finger Betty, like he was in it, you know, as well. And
oh, that's awesome. I know that.
yeah. So I've known him since high school. Like we went to the same high school. So, which is, you know, it's weird that people don't know that. I always take it for granted because I've just known him forever, but it's just like sometimes people don't know that. But yeah. So, you know, he kept playing music, and I basically like didn't have anyone to play music with. You know, he moved away and you know, joined Dark Mirror and played down in Des Moines, and I just like wasn't good enough to keep playing. But it's so cool to know that you guys were like writing music in high school.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I was like 15 when that happened, and I like turned 32 in December. It's crazy.
That's insane. So like, what was it like when you guys like wrote your first, you know, couple songs or whatever? Like, at what point in time are you just like, oh crap, if we just write like a few more, we can like release like a little mini album or something? Yeah,
we had like the first song we wrote. Oh, gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like, it was cool because it was our song, but it was terrible. And like the second or third song after that, I mean, it's one of them we still play today. Like the last time you saw us, we definitely played it.
Oh wow!
But yeah, it was. I just remember being like, this is really good. I might just think it's good because like it's our song, but I think it's really good. And we like try to record it with some like bullshit recorder or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we never ended up making any good demos ourselves. But it was funny earlier we were talking about like, you book a show, but you only have like a half hour's worth of material. The first show we played, we knew 6 songs, and we 6 songs, and we said we could play for 3 hours. So we just played the set over and over and over and over again. And it was at this bar in Crest, Sheraton, Iowa, and it was so funny because I mean, again, we're like teenagers, and so our guitar player would start playing Eruption on guitar, and then he'd do like a pick slide and then start playing Damn It, and we were like, oh, that's so cool. But you could see like the old people in the crowd just go like, oh, and we just kept doing it over and over again, and those people so drunk, and we made first gig ever. I think we made like $600 or $700 just from drunk people giving us cash.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, we should do this all the time. It doesn't always end up like that.
No. I mean, you also have like this. It's this weird thing of like when you're a kid playing music, people will like blindly support you. Like I recall seeing a band of youngsters playing a show not terribly long ago, and it was like one of their first shows, and it was basically what you said. It's just like the people are just up there making it rain, and it's just like this is hilarious. Like the wildest thing I've seen in that vein was like somebody brought like a drum set and gave it to like the drummer because he like didn't have a good drum set, and it's intermission, and like some dude just rolls in with like a big kick drum. He's like, I got this outside for you, just take it home with you. And it's like,
that's insane.
Somebody just tipped a band a drum set. Like that's wild. Set. That's so cool. Oh man. Dude, so like first show, how old were you guys, do you think? Like that Creston show you were talking, is like one of your first shows.
Yeah, I would have been a sophomore in high school, so I was probably like freshly 15.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was freshly 15. Yeah.
That's wild.
First display case show.
That's so crazy. I don't care if you're playing a half an hour over and over and over again to fill up 3 hours. That's still wild. Like I probably didn't start playing music until I was like 15 or 16. And then like, I wouldn't have even imagined playing music live until I was like in my 20s. Like I just didn't think it was possible. Like you had to be someone special to be doing it. I guess, I don't know. I just didn't have I didn't have the gumption like you guys did. It's so cool.
Thank you.
Like, how do you find bookings back then? Because I mean, it's like back then, it's 15 years ago. So,
dude, we found that I think Jordan found that on Craigslist. Straight up Craigslist
gig. Dude, that's wild.
I'm pretty sure it's a Craigslist gig. I'll have to ask him, but yeah, we did that, and we still used MySpace then. I mean, MySpace was still a good thing. So we would book.
About that.
That's how I remember talking to Transit on MySpace before they came to town, before we opened for them. And yes, we did a lot of booking through MySpace for a while, and then MySpace just turned into to Facebook, and then we just kind of started meeting bands in the scene. So when we started, it was really weird because we're like this young band playing these like pop punk songs poorly, and at the time, Des Moines, House of Bricks, downtown East Village, it was just metal band after metal band after metal band after metal band with these big dudes with these bloated guts and beards, and we're just like
crazy face paint.
Teenagers in there, and it's so funny because we're like, again, for the record, we were teenagers, but we're just like secretly making fun of them the whole time, and then they go out there and just blow us out of the water. it was so fun.
I still remember the first time I was ever at House of Bricks for a show to watch somebody play a show there. The opening band came out with like props and stuff, and they had, face paint and like fake blood, and then they had upside down crosses on stage with them, and it was just like, what is going on? Like I was like 17, 16, and I was just like mortified. Like I can't believe what I'm seeing. What is this? I mean, I'm from a podunk small town, or whatever, ain't seeing any of that stuff anywhere near this area, but it was just wild to like go into a venue and be like, oh my gosh, is there going to be a riot in here? Like I didn't know, like, but that place, I remember going to see a lot of metal shows at House of Bricks.
It was crazy. It was so much metal, and all those guys, they come up to us after. They're as nice as could be, give us advice and all that stuff. And my drum set was held together by like neon duct tape for a while, and they're telling me like, when you can get DW stands, I like them better than these stands. So it was really cool because we we went up there and sucked, and they probably didn't give a crap watching us, and then they would always come up to us and pump us up, which was really cool.
Dude, that's super cool. That's super cool to know that like that happened down there, because it's not like I've seen it happen the other way, but I just have heard a lot of stories, about like the scene down in Des Moines not always being the friendliest. Like sometimes people are just like, well, these guys, I don't know about these guys, or I don't know, or like,
Yeah.
like you said, if like somebody's up there playing, everyone just goes out and has a cigarette and they just kind of whatever. But it's like super cool to know that like there's still the tutelage type thing going on, where it's like the old hats are passing down knowledge to the younger generation that's coming up, because it's like it only benefits them to have more, a new generation come through.
Oh, for sure, it does, and yeah, it's always weird. I think every city, not even just music, but every city's art scene, whatever. It could be a sports slow pitch softball league has some type of drama. Someone's gonna talk smack, right? So if I hear that about us, I'm like, number one is like, I don't care. I probably have more money than you. And number two, it's just like, dude, you're making fun of the band that covers Stacy's mom. That's us. Like, you like grow up,
Dude.
But
Okay, yeah.
come on.
Yeah, I mean, if you just zoom out and look, just like I get it. Okay, yeah, it's so funny to think of that too, because like, I think I forget to do that sometimes, where it's just like, I microscopically look down on things and nitpick them, when it's just like, if you just look at the macro thing, it's like sometimes it's just like, yeah, they're just out here having fun, like, oh, look, someone else is having fun, and that's what you're crapping all over. Or like, what did I hear lately? It's like the saying, people like, don't yuck someone else's yum. I think I heard that recently.
And that's exactly it. It's like it's like you're making fun of the band that covers Stacy's mom. I'm just at home, like sitting on my deck with my daughter, like making owl sounds. Like, come on, grow up.
That's so funny. Yeah, dude, that's so cool. We've already talked about 2 venues in Des Moines. Well, actually 3 now that are no longer there. We talked Vaudeville Muse a tiny bit. We talked House of Bricks, and we even threw Gas Lamp's name in there. Which isn't that like kind of like, isn't there a place called Lamp now that's like different but not the same?
There is. I don't know what that is exactly. It's a bar, and like the posters are all old Gaslamp posters, but they do. Like, I went there on a Saturday night with one of my friends at like 11 o'clock at night, and the place is packed, and it's a cool place, but there's just like a DJ playing like top 40 in there. So it's like, well, whatever. It's cool.
Maybe they're shifting gears. I don't know.
But see, I'm probably old, and that maybe, if I'm a bar owner, I'm going to play at the top 40 after a certain time. But I think it's cool. They they did honor the legacy, and it's really cool how they decorated it. And I love it, because someone's like, what's Lamp? And then everyone gets to talk about Gas Lamp. So if they're going to open like a alternative looking bar, that was the right way to do it.
That's super cool. You had mentioned that you guys actually have a show in Display Case. This is 92 Rock, the Regional Rock Hour. You guys were talking with Mason for a little bit. I hung out there for like the start of the Regional Rock Hour, and you guys had mentioned you're playing a show. It's the old Teehees. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it's the old Teehees. It's called Locals. I think it's just called Locals Stage, something like that. It's called Locals, but yeah, our guitar player went and saw a show there and was like, hey, yeah, we should hit this up. And I think Des Moines desperately needs a venue like that. We're a medium-sized city, but there's a lot of music, from like country to metal to punk to to hip hop. It's just, we need something like that, and we're so lucky, for being a medium-sized city to have all that, because I think there's bigger cities that have less venues, but we need it. It's cool that the need is there.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember we mentioned 3 of them already. I mean, there was like Boggs Hill Avenue Tavern, the Fremont. I mean, there used to be 5, 6, 7 places to play in Des Moines with like small stages. I feel like the only downside was like there's no bridge between that and like Wells Fargo Arena unless you're going to Woolies, and it's like tough. It's tough to be like, to justify booking a show at Woolies if you can't pull in a couple hundred people.
Yeah, whenever we book at Woolies, which we haven't for a while now, but we're like, okay, if we book this, we have to plan 6 months of promotion and no Des Moines shows. And it's you have to treat it, that's your full-time job, is promoting that show.
Yes. Okay, so like I play in Three Finger Betty. There were shows where we played 30 plus shows a year, like most of which in Des Moines. And it bummed me out so much to just be like, you have to pace it down. If you played a Tuesday afternoon show at 5 and then a Saturday show at a different venue, maybe people aren't going to be as willing to come see you because it's just like, well, they're just going to play next Thursday at
Yeah.
this venue or 2 weeks from now on a Sunday or whatever it happens to be. So it's like, it took me a long time to just be like, all right, you got to slow down. And then to like not be a little bit bitter about it. It's just like, how come we're not playing every weekend anymore? You know? And it's like, it doesn't always benefit you to do that, especially if you're going to try and book like a bigger show somewhere or like, I think exactly that. The lesson I learned with that was like, if you're booking a show where you have to like sell tickets or like it behooves you to sell the tickets because that's how you're going to get paid. It made sense not to book a show a week prior, halfway across town. And I didn't realize that until like, it was like the economics of it all was explained to me. It's like, that makes total sense. My brain is, I don't live in Des Moines. So it's like, if I'm going there to go to a show, I will travel there. I keep forgetting that the people that are in town, it's just like, it's like there's a Burger King on every corner, so it's not special. So like, why would you want to be the Burger King of the bands if you're just like on every corner playing music,
Yeah, that's so true. The Burger King of the bands. I'm stealing that. That's good.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be the next display case song.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned touring. Have you guys actually gone on a tour? Like been around, like book shows in succession outward somewhere?
Yeah, so from like 20, hold on a second. From like 2013 to 2017, I think we would tour nationally. So we hit we counted this once. We were, it's like between 32 and 35 of the 50 states we've played in. And it was a blast, but it was really hard because you get paid like you do local shows, right? And if your drum kit breaks, who's going to pay for that? You're not home working. But touring like that, it's some of the best memories, man. It was super fun, and it definitely like made the band like so much closer. It made lineup changes happen. But it's cool to like to kind of have that on our resume. And it's cool. Like songs we made in the basement when I was like 15, we've played like all over the country, not so much the west side of the country, but we did all that, and it's super fun. And I'm still like Facebook friends with a lot of those people today, and they'll react to like our stories when we post a new song or something like that, or they'll reach out and say that they like it or whatnot. But now we kind of stick to the region. So I feel like this summer we've been out of town almost every weekend, but it's smarter to do it that way. Cause again, we can pay for better recording quality, we record ourselves now, but we can, everyone can pay for better equipment. So the songs are better. And I feel like if it was 20 years ago, we'd probably still be touring that way, but you have the internet now. You don't necessarily need to do that, at least how we're trying to do it. But like, this story so far hit us up, and we're like, hey, you guys want to come open up this tour? I think we'd have a serious discussion on that if we're going to do it,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
but yeah, it was fun. We had like a short bus that we toured out of for a while, and I remember just driving. I wasn't driving. Jordan was driving that short bus on the New Jersey Turnpike, and it just got silent because it was just like bumper to bumper traffic. It was so fun.
wow,
So fun.
That's wild. So like when you book these tours, is that like self-booked, or would you like go through like a company, or would you like have other bands kind of help you, or like?
It was all self-booked, or we like hit up a band like from like Rochester, New York, and be like, hey, we're coming through on this date. Can you play with us? If not, can you tell us who there is to play with, or what venues you suggest, or stuff like that. So it was so fun though, because we would show up, and we were just been like meeting people off the internet. And we're like staying at their house with their parents, or staying at their like college house, and they're like, you guys are from Iowa, like, do you know Slipknot, like all that typical stuff, which is so cool. But yeah, it was crazy, man. I'm so glad we did it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And if I could somehow like pull it off again and then know I'm not going to lose a ton of money, I'd be right out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you bring up something that's like always been on my mind. It's like the only reason I'm not sure I would tour is literally because of that, because the pay just isn't really there as much as it could be. You know, like it kind of depends on the band and what you got going on, or if you have like a gimmick of some sort that you can sell to people. You know, like certain types of merch, or like, you know, you dress up a certain way. There's like one character in the band, like an Alice Cooper kind of thing, or you know, I'm kind of thinking of like,
Yeah.
unless you have that, it's really kind of tough to stand out in people's minds and really make like good money touring. To the point where like the downfall of that was like playing cover shows with cover bands. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I do some of that as well, and I realize like that's where like the majority of the money is in like the scene around here, fortunately or unfortunately. But you know, it was just kind of like, man, I didn't really want to do cover shows, but like the pay is good and it allows me to like, you know, buy better cables, so I'm not just buying the $5 mic cable that craps out when you wiggle it a little bit. You know, like it allowed me to actually like upgrade some stuff and, like you said, kind of take care of my gear, or like to buy better gear and not just have just like some piece of junk I'm out there with or whatever, you know. And I don't know, that's always been something that's like I view it as so honorable. It's like fighting in the trenches, you know. It's to go out there on tour. But man, if you're at the right age range, what a freaking blast I bet it was.
It was so fun, dude. It was gnarly too. Like one van was just a futon in the back, and we slept in the van every night. I had a record of like I went 9 days without taking a shower. And this is nasty. This is nasty. But I remember I walked into a truck stop or a rest stop to pee in the morning, and I was like, what the hell is that smell? Someone like died in here. I was like, oh my god, that's me. and we just got like some cheapest hotel you can. And we ran into a problem too, because at that point we were all under 21 and we're like full time touring. So like it's so hard to find a hotel. It was so hard to find a hotel.
Oh yeah. I mean, you'd have to have somebody at least 21, or like, you know, it's not really, you can't really just like have one of your parents just like call over and vouch for you. It doesn't, they're not going to believe that, you know, or whatever.
Right.
Or like maybe get their credit card and pay them back. Yeah, like that would have been terrible to try to like figure that out. But also it would have been kind of fun, you know, like just staying in like a Walmart parking lot or whatever, you know, and just.
So you think that's fun? So we stayed in a Walmart parking lot in oh gosh, where were we? We stayed in a Walmart parking lot in Rochester or Albany, New York, and I walked in. I can't remember what grocery. It's not Hy-Vee, obviously, but I walked into a grocery store and I'm walking back out. I see 4 New York State troopers with their lights on surround our van. And these dudes get out of the van with like bulletproof vests and shit, and they're like peeking in the windows and all that. And they thought we were making meth in the van because we kept going into the grocery store and back out. And they told us like, yeah, you can't park here. Vans come here from the Midwest and make meth, and the vans blow up and all that. But because I turned around, I saw that happen. I turned around, I just went back in the store. Jordan's walking out. I was like, dude, I can't deal with this. And Jordan walks out there. Jordan has like cotton candy blue hair at the time. And he's out there like telling the state troopers like it's just music equipment. And then Dylan's like yelling back at the state troopers. And then I just went and fake shopped for like a half hour and left.
Gosh. All right, so maybe don't stay at a Walmart parking lot.
Don't stay at a Walmart. Truck stop's where it's at.
All right, truck stop is where it's at. You know, honestly though, like security-wise, it's probably just as good either place. You know, there's people at either place. Man, that's super crazy. The touring stories are always my favorite. So I don't know. I almost don't know where to go from there. So like let's like, how many albums have you guys, are those albums like behind you in the video there? Are those the ones that you guys have recorded, or?
Oh yeah, they are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, I counted wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there's 6 albums that we've done. And then recently we.
Sorry, the drummer.
No, you're good.
You counted wrong. It's like so. It's just so funny to me. The drummer.
Wait a second. It's because I counted wrong because I drum left-handed, right?
That's hilarious. That's gold.
But yeah, so we got 6, and then we just kind of do singles now. But I won't be surprised if we put out another EP at some point. It's easier to do singles, I feel like.
Yeah, that was actually a question I have. I always throw some like weird ones on here, like
Yeah, do it.
albums versus singles. That was one of them. Like thoughts on that? You already just pretty much said it's easier to do a single. You know, like especially if you go somewhere else to get it recorded, it's just like yeah, it's just one song recorded. It gets done
Mhm.
pretty quick. The turnaround's fairly quick, and then you can get some artwork for it and do something. And you know, 2 3 months later, you got another one. You know, or whatever, and you can kind of just keep chugging them out there instead of just being like this year we released something or you know 2 years from now is our next album. Like I always feel like the wait is always just you know it's obviously the sign of the times, but like
Yeah.
waiting for new stuff, it's like I don't want to wait. I want it on demand. I want something trickling in at all times, just like social media, just like reels. I want to keep scrolling and hear new things and, you know, I don't know. So, yeah, this is actually pretty cool. So let's see here. I'm gonna double check through a couple questions here. Do. Oh, here's a fun one. We're gonna end it on this, and it's a shame that I waited this long to bring this up. So, when I was on the Regional Rock Hour and the 92 Rock 6th anniversary party or whatever on 92.1 up in Fort Dodge, and you were there, one of the things I remember Mason saying was like, you guys have a style of music that's fairly wide. And I remember just being like, in my head, I was just like, from what I can remember, it's not like, I don't know, like part of me is just like, it's not metal, but it's not like pop punk, but it's somewhere in this like party area in between. And I don't know how to describe it, which is kind of wild because, and I mean, this is exactly what happened. Mason played a Three Finger Betty song, and I was like, cool. And as soon as it was like getting close to the end, I was like, I'm out of here. So I left. I got in my car. I turned it on. I flipped it to 92.1 so I could listen to the rest of the show and listen to your guys' interview. And he played a couple of your guys' songs back to back. And I think listening to them like in recording version back to back, I realized like exactly what Mason was saying. You have such a wide berth of music style where like some of it is like lean forward and run music, but like one of the songs almost had like a disco beat to it or something. So like
Yeah.
it really felt like you could dance to it, but at the same time it wasn't disco music at all, you know, obviously. But like how would you describe what your guys' music style is?
Man, I have no idea. Someone asked me, I usually be like, it's kind of like Sum 41, but it's not. You know, that's kind of what I say. It's
Yeah.
like that punk metal mix, but then it kind of gets like poppy. But I just like to say it's alternative rock. It's like modern rock music. But yeah, I don't know. It's really hard. Those two songs that Mason played are the last two singles that we've released so far. And
They're killer, by the way. I'm not one to just
thank you.
I'm not one to just like banty about a whole lot of I mean I do the podcast and stuff. I don't banty about a whole lot of praise. I freaking dug both of those songs. So
Thank you.
I'm gonna go pull them up and listen to them again. What are they called?
Heck yeah. Uh, the one we just released is called Heathens. That one is kind of, you'll figure it out. It's faster. It's heavy.
Yep.
And then the dancey one is called Hot Club Dance Mix Volume 7.
Dude, that's an awesome name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I think I used to try to be like too much of a guy where it's like we should keep trying to write these alternative pop punk songs, and then Carter joined, and then Dylan rejoined a little bit later, and those guys are just like, if it sounds good, we'll just do it. I'm like, hell yeah.
Dude, that's honestly, do you think some, and this is going to be the philosophical thing we're going to end on. Do you think some of that is maturity? Like,
I think so.
So like I remember being a kid and just being like, if it's not this, this, or this, I don't want it. And that was basically like, if it wasn't this, it sucks. And then the first time you see some guy doing like flat picking or like chicken picking or some bluegrass music and they're like shredding and you're like, oh, these guys are good too, actually. You know, like, so there was a time in my life where it finally hit me where it's like, just enjoy what you're doing, you know?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is maturity because if I listen to like any band that I look up to, their sound changes, and it's like, what are we going to just keep? The display case is not going anywhere, I guess. So are we just going to keep writing the same thing over and over again? So, let's just see what happens. And no, it's been so much fun. It's so much fun.
That's super cool. This has actually been quite a bit of fun to sit down and talk with you because again, it was like I probably haven't seen display case in like, I mean, it was post COVID, but like that doesn't really say much because that's like 5 years ago now. So like
Yeah.
probably somewhere in the 2002 or 3 area. I think we shared a stage with you possibly at Gaslamp right before it closed. It was right before it closed. Like
When did that close? Was that
I mean, watch it be like 2001. Like, you know, like I don't want to put too much of a date on it, but
yeah, it's 22, I think. But yeah. But yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I know it's so funny walking in the studio and Jordan like, do we know him? I don't know his name. Who is that?
It says 2023 is some article closing in the summer of 23 maybe. So yeah. Yeah, so it was probably in the 2021 or 22 area. But yeah, that was kind of cool to like just run into you again and just have this like weird connection. It's like you and I, other than that, have like there's no way we would ever cross paths, and this is how it happened.
Right.
So it's like it's really cool. And then to think like you've been on tour, so you've probably got piles of these people out there just cruising around, and you ran into them at a show or whatever it happened to be. So
yeah, man.
anything we didn't touch on you want to hit up on the way out? I will put all the links down below for Display Case. You don't have to hunt them down. I'll put them down below for you so you can check them out. But anything I forgot to mention on the way out?
No, man, just thanks for having me, and just everyone checking this out. Give Display Case a listen. I'm sure there's something for you with our wide range of all that. But thanks for having me.
Absolutely. There you have it. That's the end of the episode. And boy, oh boy, if you stuck it out to the end, I feel like it just kept getting better and better and better as we got to the end of the episode. That's when sometimes the fun questions come out and sometimes the fun answers come out. It's really kind of cool to hear like the touring stories and just playing music at a young age, like 15, playing in a band and then like writing music. It's wow. Like that's what a dream it would have been to have that life, and it's just kind of cool to know that he's been through like every phase of like an original rock band you can kind of go through. It's play local shows, sourcing things on the internet, and then it's like, well, let's tour, and then all of the battles that come with touring, and then it's like, let's record music. And by the way, if you haven't heard any of the music, we mentioned it at the end, definitely go check out those 2 songs, Heathens and was it Hot Club Dance Mix. Definitely go check those out. Check out all their music. Like I said, I guess it didn't dawn on me that how wide of a berth the music is. So it was kind of cool to hear all that. So pretty cool. Definitely worth checking out if you guys are into anything that's in the modern rock, alt rock kind of, anything from like the 90s till now. If you liked any of that music and it was slightly heavy, yeah, you'll enjoy this. This is super good stuff. So check out all their stuff. The links are down below for Display Case. I got to say thanks to Joey for joining me on the podcast. And, thanks to Mason, your old pal Mason, for making it happen. 92 Rock, 6th anniversary, super cool. Anybody that's up in the Fort Dodge and North Central Iowa area, Fridays, that's where Mason sits down and talks to musicians, plays music. If you guys are looking for people to do more interviews than this, that's a good place to go. Or there's a lot of people that are like, why don't you play music on your podcast? Well, that's what he's doing over there. So go check it out, 92 Rock, your old pal Mason. I loved this episode. This is super fun. Thanks again, Joey. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you to the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. Be sure to check their links out down below. There's all sorts of Audible Farm links down below. audiblefarm.com is where you're going to find basically everything. Facebook, Instagram, TikToks, Patreon, YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, share. Let people know you listen to this episode. If you know somebody that might like this, send it to them. Tell them this was fun. And boy, oh boy, thanks. It's good to be back, everybody. We'll see you next week. Peace.